do later. And if this takes a while to come out, like next part wise, oh boy. For those who have played this game before, oh, you know what troubles are gonna come there. So, let's take a look at the skills first that we got. So we got Counter Beacon, which basically allows it's a self buff that allows Yomu to counter attack sometimes, like more than she already does. So, kinda cool. It does take up one of her variety slots, however, and Yomu very often finds that she doesn't have enough buff slots to do all of what she wants to do when other people start buffing her, so yeah. Then we have Star Maelstrom, which is the dark equivalent, the light equivalent obviously of Dark Galaxian, and it can inflict instant death, which is kinda solid. Lots and lots of cooldown to it though. So you can't use it too often, but it's a pretty powerful attack at the very least. It's not quite as strong as Patchouli's Royal Flare, but it's still a solid attack. And instant death is always good, we've seen it before. That can be pretty fun to do. Finally, Tsunami is an accuracy and evasion dropper. The reason I don't use this attack ever is not because it's weak, it's because the Waterland has to be in favour, or at the very least neutral, before you can use it. So I very often find that if, it conflicts with the other skill stuff that I'd want to do. Because I can't be using fire skills if I want to use Tsunami, and the enemies that I'd want to use Tsunami against very often have fire skills of their own, right? So, I don't know, I don't overly like it, but I'm sure some people out there could probably make better use of it than me. Then, the next thing, of course, we have defeated Matsuba, so Ms. Matsuba has indeed been defeated, so we can get some more stuff. And this is not quite the last stuff in the game, but it's getting pretty close to it. Kusanagi is an awesome sword, and then we have tier 6 weapons. This is just about the final reasonable tier of stuff to make in this game. So of course the usual things, usual players that we get here. The Foresight is really good, that's definitely something I would consider making. We have the tier 6 weapon for Yomu is really good, and the Sugata scroll is not bad with the armour for Byakuran. And we also have other stuff here as well, auto barrier for shield. So we have some extra shield based stuff there. The first one was lightweight, second one is mid tier. This I think is also mid tier, the Abaddon shield, and then the AP shield is heavyweight. We also have a barrier suit, so lightweight gear, midweight gear, and heavyweight gear. This is a really good one actually, the I guess it's advanced muscle suit. And we have the third tier of Adamantite and Soul, as well as, lots and lots of stuff here, as well as the tier 4 gears for the chokers and the basic items that we've been picking up. So unlike the previous levels which we have picked up during stages, we actually need to make all of the tier 4 ones. And there's an unfortunate catch with that. We'll see that in a sec. We also have these, which are pretty nice. I've never really been able to make them, but they're good. Dragon Scale's quite nice, and we actually have recipes now for Orichalcum and Adamantite, which is really good. Also, we have a cutscene here, which I wasn't actually expecting just now, but oh well, I guess I forgot. So this happens, Q&A comes in when you have played the game for 100 hours or more. This file has 100 hours on it, mostly because I leave the game on quite a lot. I have a habit, like with all games basically, that I tend to leave stuff on a lot when I go do other things. Like, I would leave the game on when I go down to make dinner, or when I was starting up something else. I'd quite often leave the game on when editing videos and stuff like that, or leave a game on. Quite often it's Monster Hunter, is why I've got like 800 plus hours on that now. Probably only played, I say only, but probably only played about half of those. At most, more likely about a third. So yeah, Reimu's hero for Akyuu's knowledge, of course, and Kione would be a pretty good person to have around, right? So let's see, will you join us? I mean, she's now been told about the incident, and we would love your assistance. And uh-oh, that doesn't sound good. I guess can't really leave, but we do get a formation, so that's at least something. Unfortunately, it would have been great to have had Kione playable in this game. And yeah, nothing more to add to that. But the formation that we get is the Gensokyo Barrier. Really tight pack formation that has lots of defense stuff, which is kind of cool. I don't overly like the post defend of the central character because that's it's kind of annoying, to be honest, but you know, you would need somebody who has very high casting speed to be in the center to make use of that, because everybody's speed does go down in this formation, but the defense goes up quite a bit, and it's really good for using AoE stuff. Unfortunately, the enemy AoE is obviously going to work as well, but yeah, I forget what percentage chances everybody has of getting hit there. If the middle character has a really high chance of getting hit, that's probably not the greatest of formations to use, but I don't know, it's a good defensive one if you need defense. So let's go through all the stuff that we can make now for tier 6, right? Because that's what we have here is a lot of stuff to go through. So Reimu's tier 6 weapon's actually pretty cool because it has magic exorcism as well. You can see the other item that we need for this is trapezohedron. It's a weird thing to say, but yeah, trapezohedron is the 6th tier crafting item. And yeah, magic exorcism at 50% is really solid if you're hunting demons. And just general stuff that way. I mean, most enemies don't have divine barrier, so really that magic exorcism is for demons and pretty much nothing else, because Reimu can't use magic against the angel enemies because they're immune to light, obviously. So yeah, that said, this is still an incredibly solid weapon. 30% extra amulet damage is really good, and the magic exorcism does help, so yeah, worth having. Magus Broom increases casting speed a lot. I probably won't make this one because I only just made the tier 5 Broom, and that has +3 bombs. And bombs are really good for Marissa because she doesn't get very many of them. So yeah. For Sanai we have Multi-Strike, which is good. 50% chance to do more damage, which is always nice. And the Paralysis Resistance, which is actually the same as the previous one, which is also the same as that. So yeah, this doesn't have any status on it though. That's the only sort of disadvantage for me. Then we have the Stardust Fan, which is really pretty good actually. 30 points extra evasion is nice, and that kind of goes with Aya really well, so yeah. Then we have the Vice Sword, which is super cool. I actually do like this one a lot. Transcendence, Magician's Warriors are... Transcendence are pretty common. Magician Warriors, of course, are very common because all the basic enemies, like the Centaur Knights, the Fairy, stuff like that, they're all Magician or Warriors, so that is really good. And it gives you an extra bomb, which Sakuya doesn't tend to have a lack of bombs, but hey, an extra bomb is always good, so... Fantastic weapon. I really need to make this at some point because Sakuya is still using her tier 3 sword. Yeah, that's how far back we're going right now. So as soon as I possibly can, I will be making this, because Sakuya is going to be hurting a ton for damage next stage if I don't. Then we have another really good weapon actually. If I was going to make a book, this would probably be the book I would make. The Magic Exorcism is fairly solid, 15% more HP is really good, and that Light Dark Enhance is pretty nice too. So yeah, same sort of enhancement stuff as last time, but a tiny bit more exorcism, and the HP is really solid. So yeah, if you want to make a book this stage, not a bad call. The autocannon multi-target stuff, pretty fun actually. Multi-target is really good because you hit all of the enemies, basically. And yeah, Sanai had that too, which was nice, but Sanai doesn't attack very often, so whatever. But the autocannon is pretty solid if you can get past the accuracy, which we can because we have headshot goggles free. So we have both 2 and 3, so we could put one on Saki or one on Notori and it would work just pretty great. Then we have the Goliath Greaves, not very good, to be honest here. I mean, if you're attacking with Alice, then that's okay. They're not too bad for that, but their effect is pretty bad. Resistance 15 compared to even the previous one, having stun resistance is good, or having resistance to all magic elements, or having 10% more HP, which is really strong, or even just having the 3-stage resistance to stun, which is better than the tier 5 one for some reason. Yeah, it's not very good. I don't like Alice's weapon at this stage. And we have the Force Eye, which is a really good weapon actually. Mystic is notoriously hard to resist, so that automatically makes this a fantastic weapon, because Mystic resistance is so strong on this thing. And 25% more Mystic damage is really good too, because what's one of the best attacks that I tend to use a lot? Mind Blast! This thing buffs Mind Blast, therefore it's automatically good. That logic. But no, it's seriously pretty strong. The only thing that might stop me making it is the fact that I just made the Beholder Eye, which nulls magic, and that's also very strong. So yeah, I don't know. Satori's weapons are pretty good in the late game. They just take a lot to make, so yeah. And then this would be the second weapon that I would make as soon as possible, because it's only 5 points less in crit damage than before, but it has the full 100% exorcism, which is amazing, and it slays foreign gods. Which enemies are foreign gods? Oh wait, those stupid demons and angels that keep pissing everybody off. Yeah, Yomu can get to slay them. Manusa's stance with this thing, oh baby, it's so good. So yeah, also slays yokai, which I forget exactly what class that is, which is really bad, but it's usually other stronger enemies classes that, so very very strong. Definitely need to make that too, but Sakuya's comes in as a higher priority because Yomu's using a higher tier weapon right now. And we have this is also really solid actually. Moko kind of stops getting status stuff for a little bit and instead has defense ignoring. So shields do nothing against this weapon, which is really good. She has extra HP, which is also solid. An extra bomb is very good, of course, because all of Moko's attacks are bomb skills. And she gets to ignore enemy defense some of the time. That's really good. Unfortunately for her, I just made this one, so you know, she doesn't need a new weapon immediately, and the blindness effect of this is really good too. So yeah, another one I won't be making immediately, but you can see the accuracy is also a lot higher than it was before. 140 compared to the 115 of the other gloves. Funnily enough, kind of like Alice, Moko's weapons don't get any less accurate when they go to higher like power and stuff. It's actually neat. There aren't too many weapons that do that. Staff weapons are the only other ones I can think of that stay at the same accuracy, but these ones have more because they do. I don't know, it's the game, what do you expect? So, and we have the Sugard Scroll, good magic defense to make up for not having Divine Barrier, I suppose, but the Divine Barrier 20% cut that I currently have is technically better. However, if you do have the armour like I do, which has magic evade, so 15% of the time you dodge magic attacks, and you had the mirror shield so that 25% of the time you would then reflect magic attacks, this is pretty solid. If I somehow get enough trapezohedron, I may well make this anyway, because it is pretty good, but it's just not as good for Byakuran's purposes as the tier 4 one, because even though it's got a stronger barrier, it only blocks physical, whereas the one I have right now blocks both magic and physical. So that's that. Then we have all these extra ones as well, which need stuff like the Orichalcum. Auto Barrier is a really good shield, but I'm not using an Orichalcum for it right now. This is the sort of thing that I would make in post-game, but unless you get like 10,000 Orichalcum shards from enemies and stuff, I would not be making this right now. I don't think it's worth it for the main game, but for the post-game, this is not a bad shield. So keep it in mind. Just don't make it just now. Same for the Force Shield. This does take an Adamantite, which is annoying, but it's a good magic blocking shield. See, it's got a 50% activation rate. It's really solid. The Auto Barrier also did have a higher activation rate than normal block all shields. 35% compared to the usual 20 is really, or even 10 is really good. But yeah, 50% magic block is nice. It can also block physical at about half the effectiveness, so like 25% I guess. And it blocks mystic even more, about 75% I guess. That is assuming that the weakness resistance percentages work the same way for shields as they do for everything else. It's kind of weird, but yeah, you need Adamantite in order to make this, so again, not going to make it just now. The Abaddon shield though is not a terrible shield, pretty solid physical defense and can resist fire, which is solid. I don't have enough fire shards for it though, so nuts to that, but whatever. And then you have the ridiculous AP shield. Excuse me. Yeah, this shield is nuts. 65% chance to work is incredible. If you put this on a Hooray boosted, is it Hooray or Imperishable Knight? The defense boosting traits for Moko, she could actually make this shield work just about 100% of the time against physical. It's incredible, and look at the physical defense it adds as well. 276 physical defense? It's insane! But it takes Adamantite, so guess who's not making that? It's a shame, but that's the thing, you really have to weigh up the Adamantite costs and stuff, because you will have to watch that a lot. Because you do need a ton of them if you're going to make really good stuff. Like this barrier suit here. We could actually make this just now, and it is incredibly tempting to do so. But I need to research exactly how my Adamantite and Orichalcum stuff is going to get used. 114 physical defense is good by any armor standards. I think that's higher than all the midweight armors that we have as well right now. But this is on a lightweight gear. We could use this on Patchouli. It's incredible, you know, the defense that we get here. And 10% extra HP? Heck yeah, Satori could make really good use out of this. So I might end up making this. Before I go any further into the armors though, there was a weapon which I didn't show. And that is of course the Kusanagi. The Kusanagi is basically the God Sword. This thing has a crap ton of attack, more attack than most of the character weapons that you'll make. It's got full exorcism, it has a bunch of slayers as you can see here, like 5 different slayers, all on really good things. Foreign gods are good, obviously the angels, demons, dragons are really solid because they're hard to slay otherwise. Giants tend to be really good with physical defense, so that's fine. Transcendence is nice because stuff like the Mind Flayers are transcendent, so good to have that. And spirits is a pretty solid one to have as well. There's a few nasty undead monsters that you'll find. So yeah, good stuff that way. What you don't get to see here is that this thing will also increase your lives, it'll increase your bombs, and I'm pretty, by 1 each. It increases your HP and MP, I believe, by, I want to say 10%, but I don't remember. I'd have to have a look at my other save file. and I think it increases your core stats as well. So like dexterity, induction, stuff like that. Well, induction's not one of the core stats, that's a side effect. It does increase induction though. You know, dexterity, wisdom, strength, stuff like that. I would need to check exactly, but I know it increases a lot more than you can see here. It was so good, no, it is so good, that it used to cost 30 iron before weekend to make this thing. You can see that it does take both an adamantite and an orichalcum to make. It is incredibly difficult to make this thing, but it is so worth it. It is absolutely worth making. I would actually sort of prioritize this before a lot of the other character weapons, and it is tempting to go ahead and make this like right now, because I'm pretty sure I have enough orichalcum adamantite to do it. But we shall show that later. For now, we have... we didn't actually get any more character armours, so we'll just have the maga suit here. Like I've said before, it's notoriously difficult to resist Mystic, so having a solid midweight armour to do that is quite nice, but I don't think it's worth an orichalcum in the main game. It's a solid thing, but I don't think it's worth it right now. You'll get pretty solid armor and stuff like that closer to the end of the game, which will make that not obsolete by any means, but definitely not quite as overwhelming as it looks right now. Let's put it that way. So then the other armor that we got is the advanced muscle suit, which is a super good armor. 177 physical defense is very difficult to match. That's a 33 points ahead. No, is it 35 points ahead of what we've got already actually. It increases your physical damage by 10% and it gives you 50% resistance to all physical elements. Really solid. Just ridiculously solid actually. Akyuu makes amazing work with, makes amazing use with this. Again though, you can see the cost of it. It costs both an orichalcum and an adamantite, making it incredibly difficult to make during the main game. Still, something you should consider. Finally, well not quite finally, but getting close to being final, 10 lives in one go. It's kinda silly. The Atman coin is pretty fun. Does take 2 gold on the trapezohedron, and you know my stance on lives anyway, they're not important enough to dedicate an accessory slot to. You get enough lives anyway during the game, so there's that. The Awakened Soul, on the other hand, most definitely is worth doing, and this is one which I will want to make as soon as I can, but after I've made the character items that I want. Plus 5 bombs in addition to the plus 3 and plus 1 that we already have is insane. Absolutely insane. Give this to Moko and she suddenly becomes a ton more viable, or a ton more durable in terms of attacking enemies and stuff. Like, you know, swarms of mobs, because then you could easily give Moko, I want to say 14 bombs just now if I had this, because she starts with like 6 and then I could give her a plus 3 and plus 5, so yeah, absolutely insane. Then we have the level 4 items, and here's the catch. Trapezohedron aside, these things need the level 3 item in order to make them. That kinda sucks, because we've already opened a chest that has a level 3 item in it. Not for all of them, we don't have the Rage Choker 3 yet, but you know, say for the headshot goggles. If we want to make the plus 60 accuracy thing here, we have to give up the plus 45 accuracy from Headshot Goggles 3. We cannot get this back because we've already opened a chest that had the previous one in it. Now this is a bit different later on. The Wisdom Ring and the other ones that have dropped from enemies, we will be able to get those back again if we made the level 4 ones. But these ones? No. If you make the level 4 one, you will never have the level 3 one again. And this is annoying, let's just be honest here. They're also expensive to make, so we're not going to make them, you know, probably not going to make them during the main game. But just to show, I mean, this is physical attack 40 as we've seen, defense 40, magic attack 40, this one's really good. 40 magic attack is immense. Like, absolutely ridiculously immense. Magic defense 40, we've seen the accuracy 60, evade 40 is pretty good, induction 60 is really nice. This would be one to make if you were going to make any of them. Resistance 40 and speed 65. Alright, that's a lot of speed, so if you need to go first, then that's not bad. Then we have the proofs here. We actually have not come across the enemies that give us the accessories for these yet, but we will gain the tier 3 physical resistance gear within the next 2 or 3 stages. And that essentially means that we can make the tier 4 ones from the tier 3 ones. See, it does take a diamond to make these, which I got 1 drop in stage 15 for a diamond. All of them take the same stuff. You can see they do all take gold as well though, so gold is a rare thing to get, and of course it's it basically relegates most of these things to post-game. Dragon Scale, we won't actually be able to make this until the very end of the game, because the Drake Scale doesn't drop until like the final stage. So yeah, but it gives you a 3-stage resistance to the core elements. It's pretty solid. Drake Scale of course will be a 2-stage resistance, like the dragon, not the dragon, the element guard was a 1-stage. So yeah. Then, finally, we have the Orichalcum and the Adamantite. We have actually picked up all of the available shards so far. It takes 4 shards to make 1 gear piece here. So, we shall make 1 of each of these. And that does mean that we could make the Kusanagi just now, if we wanted to. And it's tempting, it's really tempting, because that would mean I could go into the next area with a solid weapon for like Sakuya here. Either Sakuya or Yomu. I would probably choose Sakuya first, because Yomu does get the critical bonus and instant death stuff off of her specific tree. Yeah, that's probably what I'll do. So I know this part's been going on for a fair while, but there is unfortunately one more thing I want to do first, and that is to show you why this next part is most likely going to take a very long time to do. Because I'm going to have to do a lot of work to get through this. Let's just show you the beginning of stage 18, get all of the cutscene stuff out of the way here. So yeah, we're actually inside the temple now. Don't know quite how an overworld icon works for this, but this is technically the final area of the game. So yeah, place isn't even airtight, right? I know. Magic, obviously. Yeah, so we just went through underwater, didn't have any issues under the water because you can apparently breathe underwater in Gensokyo. I don't know. Yeah, we can move very easily and have the puppy death smile again. Yeah, puppy death smile. Dreadful aura indeed. Yeah. Yep, so super awesome feel of stuff. It's massive as you'd expect. Indeed. But we have a lot of stuff to do. Unfortunately, yes, this is gonna be ridiculous. There's no pathway here. A dead end at the very start of the temple. Yeah, it would be kind of unique. But we have a sign. I have no idea why they have a sign in here, but they do. Because if you haven't been leveling your party evenly, haha, you are screwed. Because this stage requires you to split your party not once, but twice. You need to have 3 separate parties going through here. Now you only have 12 characters, right? So that means that we are going to have to use less than 5 characters per formation here. Yep, it's going to be a trap, but we can't continue unless we do split our party up. Yep, there's only one answer. We have to force our way through. Yep. Indeed. Indeed. Yeah. So we have to split into 3. And yeah, this will just show it's the same principle as Ante, but obviously we have more groups this time and even fewer characters. Yeah. Unlike Ante though, you absolutely have to explore these routes in unison. So it's extremely difficult, unless you're going to clear out every single enemy on the way, it's extremely difficult to cheese this place, if you will, like last time. We didn't really cheese it, but you know what I mean. Like last time we just did one section and then did the other without really caring. This time we have to do them in unison, which means there's going to be not only am I going to have to remember / work out my strategies for this so as not to die, there's going to be a lot more editing work in this, because I'm going to have to switch the pictures every time the character teams and stuff switch, and it's going to be tough. Let's just put it that way. There are also lots of Orichalcum and Adamantite shards in this next area, so yeah, this place is going to take a lot of work, and as a result we are not necessarily going to stick to a 1 per day schedule of this now. If I can't do 1 per day with this, then I will try and do something else video wise for the day. This doesn't affect people in the future, of course, who have already seen all of this. You should probably be doing your homework over the summer. Yeah, that makes sense. If you're not in the summer, well, do your homework anyway. So yeah, this got meta real quick. So with that said, this has been Akyuu playing Touhou, the Genius of Sapphiros. Next time, I might not actually do this, because I think I might try and get the last of the formation stuff, and you know what? I should probably raise Satori up enough that she can get more skills. But I probably won't, because I'm too lazy. We'll do that after this stage. Yeah, but there's some extra formation stuff that we can get at this stage, and that would be good to do. So until then, take care.